Looking at a Mini that's got a problem with the fans don't come on, so I'm seeing what it is. Let's look in here. I can see which two are for the fan, the two relays. So I'm going to them, and if we look here, we've got 30. I'll show you here. 30 is the one that's a different angle, 30 and 87. I mean those two, and the other two at 85 and 86 for the switch, and that's the load. But that doesn't line up properly with the relay, because if we look on the relay, I don't know if you can see it, but 30 is here and 87 is there, and forget about the middle one because that's 87A. That's not used. There's just a gap where the relay goes, so that's not used in this case. So it's just something to be careful of, that not all relays have the pins in the same place. This is the load there, and that's the switch in the corners instead of being load where it usually is, opposites there. So if you get a relay to replace it, it needs to be the right one. And that means if you're using these, that when you look at the side of it and it tells you what you're doing, 30 and 87, they're not going to be the same either. Here's a regular relay. Some don't have the middle pin, 87A. That's used to make contact between these two all the time when it's switched off, and when you switch it on, it's the other two that have the contact, and the other two this way are the switch. This row is the load. But some of these cars, and this is the Mini, it changes it and it uses corner ones. So it's actually, I think it was like, yeah, like this when it's this way up. Those two were the load and those two are the switch. So you would need to put the right relay in the car when you're testing it. So I got my shed's a bit of a mess. I'm just sorting it out, getting ready for moving actually. But here's a regular diagram which wouldn't apply. I kind of got it that way on when I was holding it and looking at the board. So we've got the way that it's, you usually see it is like that. So what I've got here is the big thick red one is the load coming in at 30, and when it's switched on it'll go out through to the device through the big thick green, and the smaller red and blue wires are the switch. But with this one, it looks the same, but you can see that the load coming in and the load going out are in different places. Actually the 87's in the same place, but the 30 is different. So 30 and 86 seem to be the only two that were different, but it's enough that it's not going to work right if you put the wrong relay in, so it's something to bear in mind. These relay testers go in, you've seen them before, they go in place of the relay into the car, and you put your old relay on the top, so you can actually check the circuit like you should do on the load test the circuit. These are like, you can connect your voltmeter onto here. These are just jumpers going to the relevant pins. So the two outside ones here are the two outside ones, there and there. So you can see the voltage. You can even trigger it if you want to, like bidirectionally control it if you like, on one of these. So you could activate the coil to make the relay switch on across the load, which is the middle two. These are numbered, but the numbers aren't going to be relevant for the set of relays that are fitted in the Mini. And I've seen those relays on other German cars, BMWs and Mercedes, so I don't know if it's just a German thing, but it's something to bear in mind that the numbers won't line up exactly right. There's another one that's similar here, but that's the same. It's like the two outer ones are the control, but they don't line up with how it would be for the other type of relay. So what I've found with the Mini is the two closest to me, as I'm stood here in the corner, these two are the load, and the two furthest away are the control. So I'll put that in that one this time. and put the relay in. And that one should now be power, but if I give it a ground, so that one works, the fan works on that one. I'll go into this one for the slow speed. See, that's got a ground. Power. Hear that noise? So if I give that power, the test light works. So it's just something wrong from this connector down to the fan. I'll just have a look and see what it is. Actually, down there, that wire going in the next bit, the light's a bit too bright there. You see the wire, one of the wires isn't quite in, going into the resistor. So this will be the slow speed one. So at least we know the high speed works. I'll see what I can do with the slow speed one, if there's any way of joining the wire back on. The problem in this case with the Mini was the radiator fan on the low speed didn't work. It did on the fast speed. And we could see the broken wire, the corroded wire going to the resistor that's in line going to the fan. That was broken, and I did try and jump it with a jumper cable to see would it be worth doing a temporary repair, and it wasn't, because it still didn't work, so it could be corroded and broke on the other side of the resistor as well. And we're just going to leave it, since we know the fan works at full speed. We're just going to leave it. They're going to get a new fan. So it wasn't a very exciting diagnostic. It was more about using the relay test kit, and that the numbers don't line up with some of the relays. Not all relays are the same, even though they look the same. But thanks for watching anyway. Hopefully it's useful to somebody.